Hello, everyone. My name is Matt Milligan. I'm within the client success team, and I'm going to go over the Alpha Analytics today. Now, just before we start, I just want to give a little copyright notice that obviously you're not allowed to record or take pictures of this webinar. Just to also give you guys a heads up, at the end of this webinar, this will go up on YouTube afterwards. So if you join a little bit late, or you know you've got colleagues that are going to turn up a little late, or you want to rewatch this, it'll be available for you on YouTube later today or tomorrow. Okay, so let's go through the agenda today. So I'm just going to give you guys a little introduction about the Alpha Analytics first. Obviously, what is it, how to get access to it, how much does it cost? And then after that, I'm going to give you guys a little demo of all the dashboards available. We're going to show you how to use them, how to access them, and give you a little few tips along the way. And then at the end of it, I'm just going to give you guys a little Q&A session. So you guys can, if you guys have any questions at the end of this webinar, feel free to shout them out. There'll be a little Q&A button that you guys can click on and answer there. Just another thing to note as well, guys, try keep your questions towards the end of the session, please. Right, so introduction to Alpha Analytics. Now, what is Alpha Analytics? It's a dashboard that we use to build to help users understand and analyze their data in a simple graphical form, similar to what the homepage looks like, but it's just much more powerful and flexible with changing the data. Now, Alpha Analytics can pull data from many areas of the system to create something very powerful. Now, we're using a software called Tableau, a business intelligence software to help make big data small and small data more insightful and actionable. It's a very, very powerful system. And the following default dashboards available right now is the Applicants and Viewings, the Tenancies, Financial Dashboards, and the Tasks and Work Order Dashboards. Now, I'm going to take you through all four of them shortly in the demo, so I can show you guys around and how it looks like. Now, next, who has access to them? So all clients have access to purchase the analytics. Users can subscribe through the Alpha Store page. Now, once you do subscribe, it will take around a few hours just to load up before it comes active. And it roughly updates, the dashboard roughly updates around 4 times a day. So I believe it actually will take around every 2 hours or so just to update through the background. It's about a rough estimate. So if you see data that you just recently updated basically within a tenancy or within a unit and you don't see update on the dashboard immediately, just give it maybe an hour or two and it will come through on the dashboard. Okay, the next point is how much does it cost? So each dashboard will cost £15 VAT per month. Detailed changes, so if you want some custom changes made to the dashboard, it'll be around £75 per hour. Now, detailed changes can involve from like changing graphs, using different tables, changing formulas in the calculation, etc. And if you want your own bespoke dashboard, this can be built at a price like starting around £250 for VAT, but we will need an in-depth consultation and a chat with the bespoke dashboards teams before we can give you a formal quote. And if you guys want to chase up on this, you can use the following email below here called customdashboards@alphaonline.co.uk. And that's if you have any further questions on this with the dashboard. Now, since I've just gone over just a rough idea of how the analytics work, I think it's just best to just go through it and just show you guys what it looks like on Alpha Online. So let's have a little demo time. So just give me a second, guys. Let me just load up the system. Okay, so you have a little section here called analytics. Now, this is what happens once you subscribe. Now, just to let you guys know, you are entitled to a 7-day free trial first before you subscribe to this software. So I would definitely recommend you do subscribe and just have a play around with it yourself and see what you like about it. But I'm going to show you guys what it looks like here in today's webinar. Now, I'm just going to start off by showing you each dashboard at a time. So I'm going to start with using the Applicants and Viewing dashboard first. Now, just apologies in advance, by the way, guys, my test account is a little messy at the moment, so it's not going to be the best in terms of showing you what the data actually looks like. But I'll do my best to explain what each formula, what each graph uses, etc. Okay, so now you see here it says no data available. That's because my account hasn't been updated that much. So I'm going to set the date range at the top here, just be from 2021 to today's date, and just let that load up for you guys. Now, I'm just going to go through each table and each graph briefly, just to show you guys what which one works out. So the first one is the viewing trend. So Now, with the viewing trend, it just shows you the amount of viewings you've had over the course of this date range that I've set here and what the sources are within that. So as you can see here, for like the month of April, I've had 3 viewings that have come from Zoopla, 3 viewings that have just come from no source. I presume I just didn't add that manual data in, and another one from Google. And you can see the same here within, within May, I had no sources here. And if you have a look down here, you can see the sources that come from. So if I click on Zoopla, for example, it just shows here. So I've had 3 in April, I had 1 in July, and I had 1 in November 2021 here as well. And I can just click out of that, I can see it here. The cool part about these graphs you're going to see, guys, is if you click on them, you'll see a little table icon here that you can just click on. So if you click on this, it will just load up a new tab here for you. Now, if I click on table viewings and just click show all columns, it just gives me an in-depth report of what these Zoopla viewings were, or where these viewings came from Zoopla. So it gives me the applicant name, who was it assigned to, so where it come from. Obviously it came from Zoopla. The viewing date that it occurred on, so obviously these were in the month of April because I just clicked up through April, and so on. So if I just click out of this again, sorry, there you go. So that's how this works. And another cool thing as well is this is set to run, I think it literally is every other, you can see it for every month or so. So it goes every month. However, I can also expand it or decline it using what's through a date axis. So if I click the little minus sign icon here, it then does it every quarter instead. And I think if I do it one more, I think it does it for the entire year. So 2021 to 2022. But if I press the little plus sign and go back, so this is the original one, what it looked like. If I press it again, I think it then does it week by week. Yeah, so 22nd of February, 22nd March, 29th of March. So you can see it broken down. I'm pretty sure you can do it day by day as well, but this might look a little bit messy. Yeah, it's pretty hard to read when it's obviously set for the entire year. So I presume if you're going to be running it for like the month or the week, it might be quite cool to do it day by day. But I'm going to step back to month because I'm doing it for the year of 2021. Now, if I scroll down to this bit here, I've now got a section called most popular time chosen for viewings. Now, as you can see, it's pretty easy to see that I have very popular times on Tuesday and Wednesday at around 4 p.m. So that seems to be my most popular times throughout the day. And same with 5 p.m. as well. I have around six viewings on average. And you can see here, what the cool thing about it is you can see 9.6% of my viewings are scheduled for 4 p.m. So if you just hover over all of these, you can sort of just it gives you an estimate of what's going on in there. And same again, if I click on it, there's like a little table icon again. So if I just do that, sorry, there you go. If I click on that, it then will load up the other table here. So if I click on table viewings, click show all icons, and it just shows me all the viewings that have happened within that 4 p.m. date range. So if I click out this again, so yeah, and same again, guys, I think you can literally expand it. So I think this one here will do it by every half an hour. I'll say, yeah, it does it. So 8 a.m., 9 a.m. So it breaks it down. So what happens? So this one's at 11 o'clock, this one's at 11:30, and so on and so forth. So you see that. If you like it like this, you're more than welcome to play around with it. Obviously, I personally prefer to just have it, set by the hour. So it just makes it a little bit cleaner to look through. And I believe as well, you can sort it, sort the totals up here. So you can see what's the most popular one at the top. There you go. So 11's most popular one, 4 p.m. is most popular, then it's 5, then it's 11 a.m., 10 a.m., so on and so on forth. Now, just to move over to the right hand side here, you've got applicants created. Now, I've had 118 applicants created between that date range, of course, I set at the top. Now, it's giving me a percentage of minus 50% here down here. What this means is, you can see here, it looks at your previous date range, an old date range. So this one's looking from 2020 to 2021. And you can see here, the difference is I created 6 more in the 2020 period. Whereas I created 3 less here. So there's a 50% difference in here. And same with the viewings. It says I've got 41 viewings created within this date range period. And that is literally a difference between 11 and 10. So it's really not much of a difference at all. Within there. Of course, applicants with viewings and applicants without viewings. So I've got 22 applicants that I created that have viewings within that period and 95 that haven't. Now, obviously, within my messy data that I've got, that is quite a lot of applicants without viewings, of course. But what you can do, like I said again, It's really cool. You can just have a rough estimate of what goes on here. Viewings completed as well. Obviously, I've had 41 viewings completed that I've set date range, and that is a 70% difference, minus 70% difference to last year. So I'm not doing as good as I was doing in 2020. And conversion rate. So the conversion rate here is basically applicants that turn into tenants. So when you create a viewing or create an applicant, etc., and then you convert them into a tenancy, that is the conversion rate here. So I can see 76 out of the 118 applicants that I have been converted into tenancies. And I believe if I click on it, I can see the list of my applicants that have become tenants. So yeah, there you go. All of my tenants now that have been concluded, as you can see here, and then some like Jack Smith here, he's not a tenant at the moment. Just to move down a little bit more here, I've got property viewings source breakdown per property. So as you can see here, it looks like Downing Street is my most popular property for having viewings. As you can see, I've got around, I think that's around 25, 27 viewings on here, and you can see it's broken down per source. So 2 have come from Zoopla, 1 come from Rightmove, 2 have come from Open Rent, etc. And it tells you here, it tells you a breakdown of which unit it went into. So you can see here, no source here. I've had 14 within unit 1 and 4 within unit 2. And I'm sure, again, if you click the little icon, the little table icon again, click view data, again, you can see the data. You're going to see me do this quite a lot, guys, throughout this webinar. It's a very popular feature to use within the dashboard because people want to see what's actually going down within that graph. And this is the best way to do it. Now, one thing also, just to give you guys a little tip on, there's a way you can download all rows as a text file. This will download it as a CSV file within Excel. So then you can just export it into Excel and see the data through there. Okay, so yeah, that's how the viewing source works. Of course, like I said, you can filter to only see Open Rent ones. You can filter to only see Zoopla ones if you'd like to. You're more than happy to do that. Viewing duration. Now, obviously, my viewing duration is pretty rubbish at the moment because apparently I've got a minimum of 0 minutes spent on a viewing, which obviously doesn't make much sense, of course. However, my max is about 30 minutes and my average time is about 29 minutes. So the total duration I've spent throughout this date range is 1,185 minutes. And if you have a look down here, it then breaks it down per person who was assigned these viewings. So these are all my property managers that work within my account, Milligan Properties. So you can see here, for example, Dan Smith here had a total of 3 viewings in this year. He's dealt with 3 applicants. One of them has converted into a tenant, and they had a duration of minimum 30 minutes and a maximum 30 minutes. I presume like, probably all 3 viewings were 30 minutes long. And that's the duration total. Yeah, as you can see here, there you go, 3 times 30, obviously. So that's 90 minutes spent on his 3 viewings he's had here. Obviously, I think I've got one down here. So yeah, I've got loads assigned to myself here, for example. I've dealt with 26 viewings, 27 applicants, only 2 of them converted. So clearly I've got a terrible conversion rate, as you can see. And then, yeah, it just gives you duration, minutes, and max, of course, and then that's the amount of time I've spent on it. And then at the end here, you've got a nice little summary of it all. And I'm not sure, actually, let me see if you can see a total of it all down here. Yeah, you can see a nice long list, all the viewings that have happened on this account. So 41 rows here, you can see is the summary total through this specific date range, remember, guys. Okay, so that is the applicants and viewings, guys. For any questions on this, obviously make sure to leave this later when we do the little Q&A session. Now, I'm going to go on to the next one, which is the tenancies and units. This is probably the most popular one within the Alpha Analytics section. So I'm going to do it again. I'm going to set the date range again, just for the 2021 period. So just do it for the year. So 1 year from now. And okay, so we've got how many units have been created. So 22 units have been added onto the system since the start of the date range. Now you can see here 28 were created within 2020 to 21, and then 22 were created this year. So I'm down a little bit this year. I haven't added as many units as I wanted to do within this year. However, I do have a very good occupancy percentage. So I've got an average of 81% occupancy. So that's 60 out of my 74 units that are currently occupied at the moment. And you can see here, it just gives you a little average. So between 76 and 100 is excellent, 50 to 75 is good, fair, and poor. I think you can click on it again. So 60 out of 74 units. If you want to see what's going on, you can click the little table icon again. You just click on it, click on that. And let me just load up this page. It just opens up a new tab. And then you can see here, yeah, I can see all my occupied. So I can see all my units and ones that are occupied, not occupied. I think actually if I untick that, you can see here, occupied 0 obviously means they're not occupied. 1 means they are occupied. Yeah. If I click show all the details, you can see all the details of all the units, obviously, of what's going on within this table. So average length of tenancy. So I've got an average length of 178 days. Now, just to be very, just to make it clear for you guys, this is based on past tenancies. So tenancies that obviously have expired and moved on. So I've currently had 6 past tenancies within my date range period, and they've averaged around 178 days. I believe, yeah, you can do a little table icon again, like I showed you guys a million times now at this point. You can click on that and that'll show you this. Tenancies in arrears. So I've actually got 62 out of 112 tenancies that are currently in arrears right now. Obviously, that is not a very good graph to have right now, but I can click. So I've got 55%, which is not the best. I can click on it and I can have a look to see which tenancies I do have in arrears right now. So if I click full data and click show all columns, so I can have a look at what tenancies are in arrears right now. So I can see Jamie Dunbar's in arrears, Aston Campbell's in arrears, Dave C's in arrears. These are guys I just need to chase up on. And have a look at all the data they got here, of course. Tenancy churn. So obviously.
Sorry guys, I think my speakers just went off there. Can you guys still hear me? Sorry. Yeah, you can. Okay, perfect. Sorry, I was just saying. So these are tenancies that have moved out within the period. So as you can see here, I've had 8 tenancies move out between February 2021 to 2022 this year, and that's about 9% churn rate. And as you can see here, I've got a low churn rate, which is pretty good. So I've had a really good year in terms of tenancies that have moved out. Tenancy status. Okay, this is just a nice little pie graph to show you guys what's currently going on within my account. So I've got 49 periodic tenancies, 35 current, and I've got a few that are prospective, and I believe this one here is actually past tenancies. Oh no, that's rejected actually, rejected tenancies on the system. And currently down here, I've got 24 past tenancies. That's just a nice little pie chart to show you. Of course, you got the map here, which is really cool. Obviously, it shows you just, you know, where my properties are, what's currently being let over there. So I've got 3 units down here that are currently available to let. I've got 1 unit up here that's currently being let. I've got 2 over here, 4 over here actually are currently let. This is just a cool little map to show you guys what's currently going down within your region that you're currently advertising or marketing or letting your properties. If I scroll down here, I then have the volume of tenancy type and subtype. Now, this is pretty self-explanatory again, guys. It just shows you that majority of my tenancies on my account are either residential private, or residential student. So you can see here around 53% of my tenancies take up on the residential tenancy type. Whereas for short stays and short stay socials and long leaseholders, it's only 1%, 1% and 4%. So obviously the majority of my portfolio focuses on residential tenancies. And of course, if you click on it again, guys, little table icon that can show you what's actually going down within this residential blue box you see here. Okay, so you got the average rent breakdown per unit as well. So this is just based breakdown per unit type, of course. So you can see here the majority of my properties are residential properties or residential units. Should I just be more specific? I currently have an average market rent at 43.45. Obviously, that doesn't sound particularly right. That probably means one of my units have like a market rent of £1 or something like that. But of course, within here, I've got a tenancy count of 56. So this includes all tenancies, so past tenancies included, which gives you the average monthly rent of 574. Oh, sorry, for this one, it's actually 1,826. And then this one here just shows you ones that are live tenancies, so only ones that focus on ones that are current. And then this gives you the average market rent of the current ones as well. And then, of course, you have a little summary down here. Same again, guys. Little table icon, you can view what the data is. I don't need to show you guys how to do that again. You guys have the idea at this point. Unit manager breakdown. So obviously this shows any units that are being managed by my team. So majority of my units aren't being managed, so they're just available for everyone to join. But you can see here, for example, Dan Allen has 2 units he manages. Jaffa Tabak has 12. I'm currently managing 7. And in that 7, there are 4 new units. obviously the let status count. So I have none that are unavailable or available to let, so I'm doing all right. And then here shows the occupancy. So have they been occupied? Are they vacant within that period? So as you can see here, for example, Dan Allen has a very good occupancy rate of 92% with a vacancy of only 7% within this particular date range. You notice here as well, actually, this has gone over 100%. This usually means that the tenancies have gone over each other. So it means you've got probably 2 active tenancies within the same period. So I've made a mistake within my account. I've had two active tenancies in 1 unit. So I'll need to investigate into that. And then you've got the turnover rate. So the turnover rate, guys, let me just quickly get the formula for you. So the turnover rate is the tenancies passed in the date range divided by the number of active tenancies times by 2. So that's what gives you the turnover rate here. So it's a very cool way of just seeing what the turnover rate between is within your units and what actually goes down. So yeah, this, and then obviously down here, the summary. So yeah, this is the tenancies and units one, guys. Feel free to write any questions down to make sure to get me to answer them later on if you like. And let's move on to the tasks and work orders one. Now, task and work orders one is slightly different actually, because there's a few more filters you can use for this section. Now, if I just wait for this to load up. Now, when it does load up, there is a way you can see work orders per service type or per property, if you like. So if I have a look here, guys, so if I just set it for 2021 again, guys, I'm just going to do it for the year. Now, you can see here, oh, give me a second, guys, I think my laptop's about to die. There you go. So you can see here, you've got a little filter up here, so you can filter by the particular property if you like. So these are all my properties available in the system. For now, I'm just going to show all of them because I've got this cool little feature here to see. So I think this is a great way to see which properties you're having particular problems with at the time being. So as you can see here, the Great Cottage, I've got 74 tasks raised within that period. The cool little thing as well is if you click this one here, you can set if you only want to see manager raised tasks or tenant raised tasks. So if I set it so tenant raised tasks, you can see here 22 cannot rise. I've clearly had a bit of a problem with this unit, whereas there's loads of tenancies always raising problems within here. And of course, again, guys, I can click that, and I can see if I want to see what is actually going down with that area, clicking that table button again. I'm just going to set it back to all, guys, and just show you guys what it looks like. So here again, you can see what it looks like goes on here. And of course, you've got properties with work orders as well on the right-hand side here. So you can see 22 cannot rise again there. There seems to always be a problem with what's going on with this property here. And again, yeah, obviously, if I click this, I can click the little table icon and I can see which work orders have been raised within 22 cannot rise. Again, it's just a great little icon to see what's going on, a rough estimate of what's been playing around with it. Obviously, I scroll down here, you can see it looks like my building, Italian building, obviously, there've hardly been any issues raised here, and same with Upton Close, hardly one work order raised within the entire year, so that's a very nice property to have on the system. You'll see here, though, within the work orders, you can set it to only do it for particular service types if you like. So if you only want to see ones that, have plumbing issues, for example, you can see here, 32 Day End Road has 7 work order plumbing issues within this date range period that I've set. So yeah, let me set that back to all. Okay, looking across. So the second part here is the task grade. So I've had 564 tasks created within this date range I've set. That is a 985% increase. So obviously I've started using tasks a lot more than I did in 2020. And in tasks completed, I've had 16 tasks completed. So obviously tasks created and tasks completed is obviously not a very good conversion for me right now. So I need to obviously look into my account. Average days to complete a task, obviously it's based on the day that's created and the date that day is completed, and that is the average between the 2 dates. And very similar to work orders again, obviously this is work orders created on the system. So I've had a 14% decrease compared to last year. 62 work orders completed this year, so I've completed more work orders this year, surprisingly, probably because I've been slacking from last year, of course. And then it just averages around 38 days between that period. So I'm pretty sure this is pretty self-explanatory for you guys to have a look at. So if I have a look now at the team summary, so these are the people in charge of the tasks assigned to them. So as you can see here, I can look at Dan Allen. So he's created 11 tasks within that period. He's completed 2 of them. None of them have been completed within the 14-day bracket. However, it looks like he's a little bit behind on his task he's created. And then the average time taken to complete the task is about 30 days. And 2 of them have been converted into work orders. And when it's average time to complete that's based on the work order completion as well, as you can see here. So this is usually occurs when, let's say, I don't know, you have to raise an issue when you do an inspection. You can see one of the furniture's broken. You raise a task for it. However, you need a contractor to go in and fix it. So then you have to convert it to a work order, of course. And that's when a contractor will go in and fix that. So moving on down here. So obviously these are all of my tasks there. But move down here, we've got the work order completion rate. So I've had a percentage of work orders completed. So that is 35% of work orders completed within this period out of 135. So clearly I've got a lot of work orders still to complete within my area. About 40 of them have been completed within 48 hours. However, none of them completed 7 days, 1 day, so on. And you can see here, 30 of them still need to be completed, were completed over 15 days, which is quite a long time. And of course, if you click on that, guys, you can see the table icon, what 13 work orders have taken a long time to be completed. Number of tenant issues. So obviously these are issues that are raised by the tenants through the app or through the desktop that they've selected. So you can obviously click on that and see which tenant issues that have been raised, and task conversion rates. So how many of those 28 tenant tasks have been converted to work orders? So you can see 19 out of 28 of them were converted to work orders. So I'm going to presume the 9 of them that weren't converted were probably tasks that you guys could deal with internally. And again, guys, obviously you can click on that, see which of them were converted to work orders for the contractors to come in and fix. And then you've got maintenance costs here. So this is the total amount of maintenance costs that I've charged over this date period. And if you click on that, of course, you can see a breakdown of said work order maintenance. So if I click show all items, you can see all the work orders here and what I've been charged over this period. So as you can see here, that's the budget from there, and then obviously time allocated, time costs, etc. So you can see which work orders I've had to pay for this work. Task type breakdown. So obviously this is based on your task types, of course. So you can see here, a lot of my tasks are based on the rents, of course. So I have a automated task set up, but whenever rents are overdue or late, I have a task automatically generated on my account to make sure I chase up the tenants manually over the phone or whatever through email, etc. As you can see, that's quite a lot actually. So I can actually view how many, I can see into which ones. Other ones is maintenance for tenants, and then I've got a few for inspections. I've got non-assigned one, and I got bathroom issues and so on and so forth. You can see which of those issues were created. Obviously, the rents ones, no tenants created those ones, but you can see 8 out of the 35 here for the tenant raised issues are for maintenance issues. 16 of them are completed, 12 of them emergencies, and the average time taken to complete one of them, you can see here, so minus 1.3 days. That usually means I've completed it before it's even started. You can see here, average takes here, for example, request to end tenancy, takes less than 2 days to do. And of course, again, guys, like I said, you can click sort in order if you like. So if I can see here, I can see which one's the least has been created. So one task has been created for deposit within that period. And so on. So let me show you guys a little graphs here. So we've got a cool little task trend graph here for you to have a look at. So it just gives you an idea of how many tasks have been created over said year. So you can see here, obviously, around August, September, October time, particularly October, a lot of tasks were generated in this period. And then it went down quite a lot within the middle of October and then back up again at the start of November. Now, remember I was showing you guys before, there's a little plus and minus sign here. You can obviously see a little, if you click the little minus sign, this does it like this roughly does it every month, as you can see here. And if I click the minus sign again, I think it does it every quarter. So yeah, so you can see here, it just gives you a nice little date axis of what's going on within your year range. And I think the next one is year, which obviously I don't need to do. And I'm pretty sure if I press the plus sign again, I think it does it by week here. So you can see here, yeah, it breaks it down by week. And I think you can, so you can't do day for this one because that's probably because I've got so much data on here. And it's very similar with the work order trend as well, guys. You can see a little breakdown of what's going on within the month year. So I've actually had a lot of, so my most popular time was June for work orders, and it went down a little bit and then back up in November and then back down. Let me just take you through the contractor breakdown. So these are my private contractors on the system. So you've got Handyman, John, Jamie, contractor test. So my most popular one is obviously Megan Bright, contractor. So they've had 25 work orders completed in this period. Average time to accept, about 1 day. They've taken to accept it, and average time to complete it, 5 days. So obviously Megan Bright is usually on top of all their work orders, whereas you can see here for Will, he's not very good, as you can see. doesn't complete his work orders on time, clearly. And yeah, you can see Handyman John, it takes about an average 9 days to complete. So obviously, if you want to see which work orders Megan Bright worked on, you can click on this little table again, as I showed you guys numerous times now. You can see all the columns. So these are the work orders that they've worked on. If I show all columns, actually, it just makes a bit more sense. You have more data to which then you can convert, obviously, to CSV. Okay, so last but least, we have the number of work order services. Now, you have the little orange ones here, you see, guys. If it's in gray, that means it's from the old date range, so the date range before this. So what I mean by this, so I've set the date range for 2021 to 2022. What the gray one does is it looks for 2020 to 2021, so the year before this date range. So as you can see here, if I hover over the aerial network specialists, I've had 6% of my work was completed in 2021 to 2022. However, 53.81% are completed within 2020 to 2021. So obviously it's a much bigger difference to what happened before, as you can see here. So clearly the aerial network specialists were much popular the year before. However, for plumbing issue, I've got loads completed, loads of them, created within this year. However, last year, there's hardly any. As you can see here, only 4% work orders between that period, whereas 23% this year. So it just gives you a nice little idea of whether, work has increased within your portfolio, whether it's decreased. So as you can see here, obviously aerial specialist work has decreased within the year. However, plumbing has become a major issue for me. Clearly, that's a massive increase from the previous year. So it just gives you guys a nice little estimate of what's going on here. And then obviously the rest down here, guys, you can see there's not much change, but obviously at the top here, this is where all the work goes down. So like general maintenance as well, bit of an 11% increase from last year. It's not the best going on within my portfolio. Okay, guys, so that is the tasks and work order dashboard. I'm going to go through the last one now, which is the financials, which is probably the obviously the one you guys have all been waiting for, to see what actually goes down within this software. So again, my financials is rubbish on my account, so I'm just going to set it to 2021 and go through here. Now, so obviously with the overdue tenant invoices, this is based on 30 days, 6 days. So usually what most people do is actually, you know what I'll do actually, let me set it for 2022 January, and I'm going to change this one to the end of January. So I think I've got a bit of data on it. Actually, no, I've got no data at all, as you can see. Let me set it for December and see what we can do. So yeah, I've got a bit of data here, as you can see. So obviously this one is based on Tenant Dashboard. This is almost the exact same replica to the age tenant balance report. So, as you guys know, the age tenant balance report is a very popular report on the system, and we've decided just to implement one of the main features onto it here. So as you can see here, this is broken down by tenancy type. So residential, I've got 20 grand owed to me in the last 30 days, 35 in the last 36 days, and that is the total outstanding within that particular tenancy type. And this is my obviously total here. Agency fees, as you can see here, it just tells me how much is owed. So actually, I'm going to set this for 01. As you can see, I'm just going to do it for the year. Okay, so you can see here. So I have got, for 2021, it shows me my total agency fees for all that period. So you can see 1,600 of it is charged from the contractors, £820 of it is for the disbursement charges. This is just for Q1, by the way. And you can see here, £550 of that is for 22 Kenneth Rise. That's probably the reason why I've got so many work orders on the system as well for 22 Kenneth Rise. And 120 of it is just for 45 Mayfair. And you can see a little breakdown here, some management fees, tax deductions, quite big for the quarter. And what I can do actually is if I click the little expand button, see I can do it month by month as well. You know what I'll do actually, let me just set it for December 21. So we just do it for the year. There you go. That makes a bit more sense. So this shows you every quarter. So clearly, I've had a lot of expenses, agency fees through the period of Q3. And if I click the little plus sign again, it just shows you week by week, but obviously this is way too big for you to play around with, so we don't want to mess around with that. Now, the overdue tenant invoices, this is literally just the overdue tenant invoices, but in percentage format. So obviously, again, you can see I've had a bit of a mare with the residential tenancies not paying up in the last 30, 60 days and so on. And the short stays, it's not that bad. It's only about 20% percentage of totals alone, as you can see here. I'm pretty sure as well, guys, sorry, just to take you back. If you have a look, I believe you can click on it and you can obviously run reports again to see what is actually included in that trade cost, because that might, so this is one transaction, so that's just one transaction. But obviously there's other moments where you might have more than one transaction. So I got loads of transactions here. So like 13 here, for example, I've got 13 management fees. You can click view data, full data, of course, and I can see all those management fees that have been generated against my account. Okay, deposit outstanding. I've actually got no deposits outstanding, which is great to see. However, it would show up here, of course, and if you click on it, so here I've got unallocated credits. So if I click on that, I can click the table to see what 7 transactions have got unallocated credits on the system. Again, I can do full data, run it to CSV, see what's been paid around. So I can see here I've got like rent 6 months in advance, etc. I've got some deposits already held, 4 months rent in advance. So that's where my unallocated credits are at the moment. And then I just want to take you down here to the contract financial section. So this is contract expenses per property. So obviously, as I showed you guys in this graph up here, I have quite a lot of transactions for 22 Kennard Rise. So 22 Kennard Rise is quite an expensive property for me. As you see here, I've got 7 transactions within that period that I can click on and view and see the data on. So there's a nice little graph table to show you what's going on here. Unpaid contractor bills, so I can see any unpaid bills on this system here. So I've obviously got quite a lot that I need to pay up on, as you can see. So total 1,884 that I need to mess about with. So I can have a look into that. And then I got the overall contractor balance. Of course, if I click on that, guys, I can see what transactions include in this overall balance, as you can see here. So yeah, I've got a lot, as you can see, that I need to make sure I chase up on. And same with contractor expenses as well. So I've got a total of 29 expense transactions that I need to make sure gets paid up. After that, we got the opening balances. So Alan's here is owed £39,000 within this period. So I've really been really paying him up, of course. And I've got World Entity owns this much money. And of course, if they're in credit, it just means that that's money owed to you, of course. So Matt Milligan here, the owner name, he is in negative minus 4,000. So I presume this is a load of expenses he hasn't paid back, of course. And then you got the total owner balance here, very similar to the contractor balance. Of course, you just click on that, you can see what's actually going down within this period. So actually, if I just scroll down here, so I've got a lot of money that's that Dan Ander's got against him, of course. And then total markup, you can see the markup fee, and it just shows a little graph here, guys, what is going on. So you've got the lowest markup fee, which is minus £10. You got the highest, which is £9. If you guys are using markups within your work orders, it's a great way to see what's going on within the year you set this date range, of course. And then last but least, you've got the contract expenses per charge. So obviously, recharge is obviously a recharge for the landlords to pay the contractors, and charge for the contractors is the general expenses that you guys need to pay your contractors on. And of course, it's a great way to see what's actually going down here. So obviously, as again, 22 Kennard Rise is the most popular one, of course. And I can click the little table icon again, guys, to see what transactions me as a letting agent I need to pay off to said contractors. Okay, guys, that is the dashboards. What I'm going to do now is leave you to leave some questions. There's a little Q&A button you will see on your Zoom chat. Throw the questions in there, guys, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can, okay? Also, if you guys have any feedback, because of course, whilst you guys are answering, throwing these questions in, this is a beta version still. Obviously, this is the first release of the Alpha Analytics, and your feedback is much appreciated. So if you guys have any feedback on this, please drop an email to custom-dashboards@Alpha and just give some views, some feedback, some questions, etc. Our team would really appreciate it, because we want to make sure we get this right. And we want to make sure you guys love this and make sure you want to use it as much as you can. Okay. Okay, guys, I'll wait for your questions now. Okay, first question. On the applicant conversion rate, is it based on the current applicants at the time of pulling the report or when they become a tenant shown in the date range? As we come up applicants quite regularly. So it's based on the time they become a tenant within that date range. So not when they, so that's when so it's the day they're converted, that's when it pulls up within that field. The financial dashboard, does it rely on us entering the cost of the work to be undertaken by the contractor, i.e. quote, or is it linked to the actual payment? Currently, we do not add this in either. It is linked to the actual payment, so it's based on the statements you add. So anything you add within the contract statement, the landlord statements, that's where the financial dashboard takes the data. Would you remind me on how the pricing breakdown's working? Yes, I can show you that on this little section here. So it is £15 per month per analytic dashboard, £75 per hour if you want any detailed changes made to it. Bespoke analysis, obviously bespoke analytic dashboards will cost around, start from around £250 plus VAT. However, like I said, we always recommend you have a chat with our team first before we quote you on anything. If we have custom dashboards after the initial cost, is it £15 per month? Yes, it is. Because we need to host and maintain that particular dashboard. In financials, what filtering options do you have? Can you run that by again? Yeah, I can. So there isn't many filters for you to play around with within the financials, of course. So it's just kind of what you show here. The whole point of this is it's pretty broad, it's general, it's for everyone to play around with. If you do want filtering options, this will require custom changes made to your dashboards. So that's when you would have to contact custom dashboards at arthurandline.co.uk. On the financials, will all the information work alongside Xero, as we have to link with that for our business? Yes. If you are integrated with Xero, all of this will pull through within the dashboards as well, as you can see here. So any agency fees that come across from Xero, any tenant balances, credits, etc., that will come through onto this dashboard here if it's integrated with Arthur. And someone else also asked a very similar question. The task model, does the data sync from Xero to give contractor expenses? Yes, it does. Guys, the data works very similar to how Arthur reports work. So what you see within Arthur reports, we just pull raw data, very similar to how it works in dashboards. How is the viewing duration calculated? Are you suggesting the property manager enters how long each viewing has taken? Yes, that is correct. So whenever you have viewings on the system, you are tasked with saying what the viewing date is and how long it's going to be. So whenever you create a viewing, just say the viewing date here, what the time it's going to be, and what the duration it's going to be on. So that's where the dashboard takes this data. Does the financial part work only when it's linked to actual account software? No, so if you're just using Arthur just to manage your financials or just keep on top of financials, etc., but you're not actually linked to any accounting softwares, that's still perfectly fine. If you're just using it to make sure to keep on top of your tenants paying off their balances without actually linking to any bank accounts or any accounting softwares, that's totally fine. It will still pull through. Do you need the enterprise version to access? No, you can be on any subscription package to access this account. Sorry, not this account, this feature. Where can I see the recording of this webinar? This will be available for you later on today. It will be on the Arthur YouTube channel, and it will also be on our website as well afterwards. Someone asked a question, does the first dashboard just show the property address, or is it always just show the property reference? So let's go on the tenancy units here. I believe you're talking about the units dashboard. Let's have a quick look. No, so you're talking about dashboard, you must be talking about the applicants. Let's have a look at this. So I believe it does take in just the unit reference. So let me just show you here real quick. So you're talking about this section here. So this it takes in the full address, as you can see. What other questions? So I'll just give you a few more questions, guys, and then we'll call it an end to this webinar. How analytics different to reports? So we use a completely different software for the analytics. Now, the great part about reports, obviously, you can run a lot of data, a lot of CSV, Excel reports on the system. However, we're limited to the graphs and dashboard data that you can see here. This is the reason we've had to create a completely whole new section for it. So this feature used right here is a much more powerful system that we can use to create practically anything when it comes to graphs and summaries and sections on the system at all. So yeah, can we see the graph analysis of tasks? Can we see the graph analysis of tasks excluding the automated rent alerts tasks so we can analyze the real task activity? Yes, I'll take you back to the task page here. Okay, so let me have a look. Okay, so you're talking about this section here. So if I just remove that. So it looks a lot like this. So I've had 32 inspections, 0 of them are raised, 9 of them are completed, 2 of them are emergencies, etc. So it looks a lot like this with my account. Obviously, just taking to note, my account is pretty messy at the moment. Okay, guys, I'll do 2 or 3 more questions and then we'll call it from there. Will the existing selection reports still be maintained into the future, or will analysts replace reports in the long term? No, reports will always be its own section of Arthur Online, and dashboards will always be in its own section. Arthur Analysts will never take over what reports is. Is there a guide to see where we should enter data so that we can see the correct data and analytics? Not at the moment, but that's a very good use of feedback that we can actually get some Arthur guides on where to add this data. What I'd recommend you do for now is booking tutorials with our team to show you if you have any questions furthermore on where to add data so it shows up on the dashboards later on. Okay, guys, one more question and then I'll call it a day. Hey guys, for any questions that do not relate to analytics, please use our live chat or our support at Arthur Online email. Live chat's just here on the bottom right hand corner. Okay, guys, looks like there's no more questions. So I'm going to call it for this webinar. Thank you very much for coming on to this webinar today. I hope this was as insightful as I wanted it to be. And yeah, I'll leave you guys to it. Of course, if you guys have any further questions on the dashboard, please drop an email to custom-dashboards@Arthur Online. These guys will be more than welcome to answer any questions that come through on there. And if you have any just quick follow-up questions, of course, please use the live chat. My team are ready to answer any questions furthermore. Okay, guys, thank you very much.